All right. Welcome again to day number 5 of War Against Divorce. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the exact steps that you can take to change your marriage, the direction of your marriage in the next 90 days. The first question I usually ask is, what is your wife complaining about? I like to ask that because once I know where the complaint is, we can start to work from there, because that's the obvious thing that you would be able to start from. If you're getting this and you're not subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe, and I'll be very, very happy to celebrate you. Most of the problems that people complain about in marriages is not from the marriage, it comes from before the marriage. Pain and hurt that they have inherited or moved into the marriage. All right, so we deal with those, and then we start to work on your reaction. Now, no matter how much we help you take off the negativity and recenter your joy and help you to take responsibility for your own marriage and your joy and the joy of your spouse too. Now, as a man, I try to encourage you to not just take responsibility for your own joy, also take responsibility for making your marriage safe. Yeah, when you get into that space and you stop expecting your wife to make you happy, stop expecting your wife to make you feel good, you're going to discover that there are certain habits that you have learned over the years. When people treat you badly, the way you react. When people try to withdraw their love from you, the way you react. Sometimes you bribe them, sometimes you lie, sometimes you attack them by not be not intimidating them, yelling, raising your voice, slamming doors, throwing stuff. Now, those habits, they deprive you of love, real love. Because when you lie to someone that you didn't make a mistake, when they love you, you assume that the reason they love you is because you're perfect. The next step, we're going to work on your surrender to God. Why do we do that? Because when you are properly surrendered to God, the behaviors of others do not trigger you. Remember, when Jesus Christ was being crucified, he looked down and said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. And when Stephen was being stoned in Acts of the Apostles, he prayed almost the same thing. He said, Lord, do not hold this thing against them. He was thinking about them while they were killing him. How's that possible? It's a deep connection with God. Remember, Stephen looked up into heaven and he saw Jesus standing and welcoming him. So when we are properly connected with God, this depth of God's love that's poured out into our hearts, that other people's failures do not trigger us. Other people's failures do not trigger us as they used to. Yeah. So begin to work on that. Now, how do you get that level of depth in connecting with God? There are 3 steps. The first step is to be vulnerable before God, to be honest before God, and to trust God. So it's trust and honesty. You begin to tell God every time you use any of those habits to try to get love. You begin to tell God, and you continue to do that every time you do something that you know, according to scriptures and according to convictions of the Holy Spirit, that is wrong. If you do that consistently and you don't stop, a lot of times there are people who start this process and they fail, not because the process doesn't work, but because they stop being honest. It's too much for them. You lie today, you say I'm sorry. You yell at someone today, you say I'm sorry. You yell at your son, you say I'm sorry. I'm trying to get control them. The more you do that, the more you trust God, the more you begin to feel God's patience with you, and the less you are frustrated and you judge people around you. So we start working on that. Then we work on you really taking the time to consciously surrender and intentionally surrender your life and your entire body to God as a living sacrifice. That's from Romans chapter 12. You decide that, you know what, I want to live for God. I want my life to be God's. And when you do that, you enter into another level of joy and peace. Yes. And the more that is real to you, the less people are able to trigger you. So that's what I call really connecting to God's reservoir of love and having a massive love tank. And what that does is that when your wife says things that are irritating to you, disrespectful to you, because she is still struggling with her need to control you so that she can have love and joy, you'll be able to see that. And rather than get mad at her, you donate love to her. And then the last portion of this work in surrendering to God is learning to remove all your expectations, the expectations that your wife will make you happy, the expectations that your wife will make your life better. That's how we got married. When we got married, we thought that this woman is making me so excited. I love the way she makes me feel. She loves me, she respects me, she admires me. Whenever I'm around her, I feel so comfortable. I'm going to enjoy this for the rest of my life. I'm going to stick to her. Then you go ahead and you start that. Then you notice she's not always like that. She gets irritated as well. She misunderstood who you were because you were bringing your best foot forward, and now you're being yourself. She doesn't like what she sees, and she begins to complain. And then you also have expectations from what you thought marriage should be. She's supposed to respect me. She's supposed to be kind to me. She's supposed to do her part in the house. But we train you to remove all those expectations and appreciate whatever she can bring. So you work on those, a lot of listening, a lot of initiating just conversations, and responding with love language. So we're gonna then work on learning her love language and applying baby steps. If your wife already separated from you at this point, the goal is not to start doing very flamboyant things. The goal is to sow little seeds, and you've been sowing them, of course, all through the months. I would have been guiding you on how to do that, because you're not focusing on her those last 260 days. You're focusing mostly on yourself. Those seeds are already being sown, right? But this point, at this point now, you're sowing even more intentional seeds and just connecting deeply with her using her love language. There are 5 different love languages, and those I didn't come up with that. Gary Chapman did, and they are really they've been helpful. So you learn whether she loves to be complimented. You learn whether she likes to be touched. And if she's angry, she likes touch, and she's mad at you, she's not going to like touch at the beginning. You just go along with her. At this point, I'm going to be training you to go along with her. You let her lead this way because you're observing. So you let her lead. You let her lead discussions. You let her lead what she wants to do. You let her lead. Or you try to sow in all the 5 different types of love languages and see which one really hits home the most. I'm so glad that I've been able to help all the people that I've helped so far in all the years that I've been doing this as a pastor first and now as a coach. I would love to help you. I would love to stand with you. I know for sure that if you join my program, your marriage will be transformed. I encourage you to reach out to me at adesobanjo.com/chat, adesobanjo.com/chat. Check in the description below and you'll see. And if you don't, leave a comment. I want you to have a great marriage, and I believe you can. I believe you can. The ball is in your court. You just have to do what you need to do. All right. So this system works very well because God designed it. Yes, God designed all of these things, and you have God's love in your heart. I like to work with believers because I can help them tap into God's love, and they can get even faster speed. Now, but I discovered that even non-Christians can apply some of this truth, but it's a bit harder for them. But for the ones who are believers, the love of God just pours out. You can already understand someone sacrificing for a person who is not right. And that is the major part of this process. You can already see through Christ that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Romans chapter 5 verse 8. So you can understand it already. That's why as a believer, when I help believers, I'm excited to do so because I get a lot out of it. Not only do I help you to change your marriage, I help you to become a better Christian. I help you to become more fruitful as a believer, and it impacts all the dimensions of your life. Impact your children, their children, and it's a lot. There's a win-win for everyone. Right? So it's been fun going through this series with you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Don't hold back. Reach out to me adesubanjo.com/chat. Book a call. If you can't find a slot there, send me a message. Send me a message. I want to see you transformed in the next year. See your marriage changed and see you living the life that God called you to live. All right. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. And until we connect again, continue to love like Jesus and make mega impact. All right. Bye for now.